Well, from the micro relationship, let's move to the macro. One of the most important conversations we can have, not just during Human Rights Month and our celebration of how far we have come, but also an opportunity to look back to see how much still needs to be done. Now, through numerous detainments, much strife during the height of apartheid, awarded and renowned journalist Zubeida Jaffer has never let any obstacle stop her from writing truth to power. She has gone on to establish a career as a very successful independent writer with an unmistakable voice, a voice she is now throwing into the new publishing house she has co-founded, Number10 Publishers. Zubeida is joining us right now via video call to share more about her amazing career and her vision for her brand new venture. A very good morning to you, Zubeida. What a pleasure, what an honor to be connecting with you this morning.
Good morning, Graham. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Very exciting times for you right now, I know. But I'm going to ask you now, as I'm sure you've done many times through your process of writing, to look back. You have glittering accolades from your degrees, your unbelievable career. I would like you to tell me about that moment where the passion for journalism was ignited. How did you know that this was how you were going to change the world?
Well, Graham, I always say that I didn't choose journalism, journalism chose me. Because when I was at school, my dad had said to me, I must be a journalist, but I didn't have the kind of confidence to believe that I could do this. And it's a long story, but briefly, I by chance had written 7 letters to companies for a holiday job when I was a student at UCT, and only the Argus company responded, and I ended up at a holiday job and discovered my passion.
Wow, to look
chance. Pure chance.
And isn't that how life works? And it's amazing, I would imagine, for you, in retrospect, to look back at how you have played a part in how we see our world. Building to this point where you are right now, what prompted the decision to open a publishing house alongside your daughter, Rushka, and what's incidentally behind the name Number10 Publishers?
Well, you know, Graham, we've been so surrounded and engulfed by death through COVID-19. And so obviously last year our discussion became, what happens if I should die, and what happens to my work, and we realized that, it was a mess. It was all over the show, and it's in my head, it's on my computer, it's all over. And then we came up with this idea that we should create a business vehicle, Number10 Publishers, to kind of take back my books from established publishers and take ownership of those books, and at the same time also think of ways in which we can put my journalism experience make it available for a broader public. So Number10 Publishers was born, and then the name, I've got an artist friend, Derek Carlse, who was at school with me. He came up with the name Number10 because I live at Number10 in Wynberg, and my family's been here for over 60 years. Wow. On this piece of property. And so it grounds me. And it's a place I always come back to, and it's a community that I'm so proud to be part of. And then the bird in the picture you'll see is because I've always seen myself as a bird. I cannot be confined, and when I'm confined, then I bump up against the confinement and hurt myself, So yes, 10.
I would imagine through your career and everything that you've faced, you've needed that character, that bird, to free itself on many occasions. And these are stories that need to be written down in history. I mean, your works include your memoir, biographies about struggle icons, Aisha Dawood, Charlotte Maxeke. Why did you choose women specifically, and why is recording their stories, the stories of a very dark and complicated past, so important to you? I would imagine more important now than ever before.
Yes, definitely, Graham. We're going through a very difficult time in our country. And so I'm offering these 3 books, which span 130 years of South African history.
Wow.
And before I say more about that, I just want to say that I didn't particularly, it wasn't the case that I chose, I'm going to write about women, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's how things evolved. It's how things, came across and opened paths that opened for me. The Aisha Dawood story, for example, I sat with for 26 years, and I always knew that I have to tell the story of this extraordinary Worcester woman who was on trial with Madiba in 1956. And the time came for me to write that. And now the Charlotte Maxeke birthday comes up, and she has been written out of history for so long, for 150 years. And now we are able to look at her story. So it didn't just come also that I came to the realization that I have 3 books that tell the South African story over 130 years, starting in 1871 and ending in 2001. And the central to all 3 books is that there's always been people through the darkest of times who have done what they had to do to bring us light. Our generation did what they had to do when we had to do it. And as we again face all these grave challenges, I have no doubt in my mind that there will be young people who will do what needs to be done to pull us back from the abyss and move us towards the light. It just has to be done.
And one can only imagine the inspiration and how it will strengthen their resolve to be able to go back through this 150 years that you have now immortalized through your work, through your new publishing house, to be able to have a vision of where we can go and what we can achieve. Zubeida, thank you so much for doing the work that you do, for living the life that you do. I know it's just a manifestation of the person that you are, and that in itself is a beautiful thing. All the best of luck for the next phase of your wonderful career, and thank you so much for sharing these amazing stories and these amazing South Africans with us. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Graham. Thank you so much.
An opportunity now being Human Rights Month, even though we are rounding off this amazing month of being able to look back through our history, an opportunity now for, as she said, a new generation to see where we've come from, to stand up and do what needs to be done.